Albert Einstein, written by Michael Emerson. Deeply hidden things. When Albert Einstein was 5 years old, his father, Hermann, showed him a magnetic compass. Watching its floating movement around his curiosity. What caused it to behave the way it did? Why did the compass neatly stay almost still while his father turned the casing around and around in his hand? Why did the needle always point north? As thought an invisible hand controlled it. Einstein was too young to understand the answer, but he never forgot the feeling of wonder and mystery. Later, he wrote that watching the compass has taught him an important lesson that something deeply hidden had to be behind things. That curiosity little boy grew up to become a curiosity scientist who spent his life trying to identify that something by continuing to pursue his curiosity. Albert Einstein forever changed the way people think about the universe in which we live. A talent curious boy. A table, a chair, a bowl of fruit, and a violin. What else do a man need to be happy? Albert Einstein was born in March 40, 1879 in the small town of Germany. The next year, the family moved to the large city of Munich, where Albert's younger sister Maya was born. Maya would become his close childhood friend. Einstein's entire family had a strong influence on his life. His mother, Pauline, played the piano and she shared her love of music with her son. When Albert was 6, she encouraged him to take up the violin, and although he disliked the required structure of his lesson, he found that he loved playing the instrument. His violin would be a constant companion for the rest of his life. Do you know? As a child, Einstein had a common childhood speech habit that worried his parents. Whatever the young Einstein said aloud, he would after repeat it himself in a very quiet voice. It was as if he was rechecking his words to see if they were correct. He eventually grew up of his peculiar habit and became an accomplished public speaker. Other family influences also shaped his future. Einstein's father and two of his uncles were electrical engineers. They introduced Einstein to math and science at an early age. One of his uncles taught him the basics of algebra by making it into a game. A family friend, a medical student who came to dinner once a week, brought him science, math, and philosophy books, and Einstein worked pored over the books for hours at a time. He was a special ether- he was a special entry enthralled with a book about geometry. Thought the books about philosophy also helped to shape the scientist and the person he would become. Even as a child, Einstein had the ability to concentrate deeply, and he would pursue complicated problems until he was satisfied that he had considered every solution. In school, Einstein's talent for math and science was apparent immediately. However, so was his individuality to young Einstein. The teachers smelled like army sergeants who only drilled their students to memorize useless information and lifeless facts instead of encourage them to think independently and seek new answers. Einstein preferred his own brand of creative things. His objections in class caused disruption. Eventually, one of his teachers suggested that he leave the school altogether because his attitude was diminishing the class's respect for the teacher. Both Einstein and his teacher were relieved when he finally left the school at 15. They joined his parents in Italy. The family had moved to their start a new business, but shortly after they settled in Italy. Einstein moved again, this time to finish school in Switzerland. When he was only 70 years old, Einstein was accepted at one of the finest scientist universities in Europe. He often skipped routine lectures to spend more time in a laboratory developing his own ideas. Most of his university professors agreed that their brilliant young student might have a very bright future if only he would learn to follow established rules. The patent office. Einstein had trouble finding a job after finishing school in 19th. Certainly, he had been an unquestionably bright student, and he had graduated from one of the finest universities in Europe. However, his strong sense of independence and his curiosity had made him unpopular with the very teachers who could have helped him find the work he desired. A teaching position would have given him the freedom to pursue future study. Dismayed but not discouraged, Einstein didn't give up his interest in science. He had ideas that wanted to think through and test. He just needed to find the time and place to pursue them. Einstein found both the time and place in 1902 when he took up a job as a clerk in a patent office in Bern, Switzerland. His unusual job was to make sure that devices submitted for patent certification worked the way their inventors claimed they did. The job in the patent office allowed Einstein to do what he did best, pursue his curiosity and question the ideas of others. On his first day at work, Einstein's boss told him, when you pick up an application, think that anything the inventor says is wrong. Do you know? Himself held several patents. One patent was for a compass that was not affected by the presence of large amounts of iron. The compass became standard equipment on a metal ship and submarine. He also held a patent for a quiet, safe pump for refrigerator. The security of a relative salary and regular working hours gave Einstein the freedom to work on his own ideas. In his spare time, he met with a group of friends who shared his curiosity about the scientific ideas of the day as well as about development in philosophy and mathematics. They called themselves the Olympia Academy, and their enthusiastic exchange often went on until late in the evening, as they liked and socialized in cafes or in Einstein's apartment. It was during those years of steady work and strong friendship that Einstein began to develop ideas that would change science forever. The Miracle Year. By 1905, Einstein had worked in the patent office for 3 years, and during that time, his thriving curiosity had led him to research, study, and give a great deal of thought and new scientific theories. He soon felt confident enough in his results to share the ideas that he had developed. Einstein sent papers explaining his ideas to the leading German scientific journal of the time, Analyze Physics. The journal published the first of this paper in March 1905, and four additional papers soon followed. Einstein's first paper explained his ideas about the nature and behavior of light. In the second and third paper, he proved the existence of tiny parts of matter called molecules and atoms, and described how they move. His final two papers, a few new explained for understand the relationship existing among space-time and objects in motion. Scientists were astounded by what they read in his paper, where he where where had these unique ideas come from, but some were also agreed, as they found their life work suddenly diminished. In a mere 6 months, Einstein changed over 200 years of accepted scientific thought about the connect content and behavior of the known universe. The scientific community was equally amazed that these ideas came not from a professor of physics at a major university, but from a curious 26-year-old patent clerk. Immediately after the publication of his ideas, Einstein's scientific career took off in a many directions. He was further energized by the attention his work received from the scientific community and by the opportunities that were open to him. He received invitation to speak at a scientific meeting and to explain his new ideas. The 1905 Nobel Prize winner in physics personality congratulated Einstein, a well a well-known and highly respected professor of physics named Max Planck even began to teach Einstein ideas to his students. In 1905 came to be known as Einstein's miracle year.